folks, it's Saturday vlog. Of course, I'm cleaning today, my Saturday cleaning day, and then I've got some other projects going on, and Lee's got a few projects going on, so y'all stay tuned. I've been working on blankets, crocheting little blankets for my grandkids. 3 of my grandkids have baby blankets that I crocheted for them, and I had made one for the latest grandchild that was born just 2 weeks ago. While I was crocheting that one baby blanket, one of the other grandchildren was here at the house and said, I don't have a baby blanket, and which she probably does have plenty, but she doesn't have one Nana made. So I'm making her one. This one's going to be hers. This is colors that match her bedroom. And I ran out of the teal, so I've got to get more teal. I kind of left it loose right here, and I'm going to tie on more teal and go a little further and make it a little bit bigger. Also, I decided, I've only made, this will be my 4th one, and I have 11 grandchildren. So I have decided to go ahead and make them all one, even though some of them are older. They still would cherish a blanket from Nana, I believe. So I'm going to go ahead and make 7 more of these. But that's okay. And then after I make 7 more and make the grandkids one, I might make the kids one. Another project I'm working on today are my seed envelopes for the spring gathering seed swap. And I take these little squares and make a little envelope that I have a video of showing step by step how to make these. And I will tag that at the end of this video, and you can go watch how to make the little seed envelopes. Little seed envelopes, or little envelopes for anything, actually. I call them seed envelopes because they're small. And you can make these bigger. You can use a bigger piece and make bigger envelopes the same way. So y'all watch that video. Check that out. We have a lot of the grandkids over tonight. I think we're going to have 3 or 4. I have 2 right now. And we're going to have 3 or 4 tonight. So we're fixing a big old thing of chicken. He's going to grill some chicken. And he always soaks his. He soaks it in like a saltwater brine. Soak that all day. It's not even noon yet, and we'll have this for supper. So he'll soak it most of the day. I'd at least soak it to a couple hours. We use the Tony's Creole seasoning and then salt and pepper. That's like all he uses. And then he'll grill that later tonight. A cleaning project I have to do occasionally, and I've done that today, is clean these tabletops. These are my end tables that were, these crocks were in my family for years, and my mother used to make like 7-day pickles or some kind of pickles in those. I think they were called 7-day pickles, but we use them as end tables. And then of course they have our pecans in them, just because every year when we pick up pecans we put them in there. And then we shell them a little along, and before you know it, those pecans will be gone, and it'll just be an empty crock. But right now they have our pecans in them, and then we're by the couch, so we can pick a few pecans out at a time and shell them. And I'll show you, I just cleaned this one off, and then I put my stuff back on here. Well, if I can get a hold of it. And that's what our end table looks like. This is my side of the table. I have a bucket of kids' books that I read to the grandkids. And then there's my side that is also a crock passed down through my family. And then I have books. And I keep their books right there by that, so I can read to the little fellas. Someone has taken the small little farmhouse across the field, and they have started working on it, and making it bigger. They're like building on, and they've been making a lot of noise over there, taking over my solitude. So the good thing about it is whenever the trees start budding out and leaves getting on the trees, we can't really even see that house. And that field will be planted with corn. I hear they are really nice people, and I'm sure they are. And I've heard, I haven't met them yet, but I've heard they're really nice. I just don't like anybody that close, and I don't really like during this winter time being able to see clear across there like that. But when it greens up, it'll be mostly hidden and we won't see each other anyway.
Yes, there's for Teresa's Saturday vlog. I'm out here, I'm trying to burn a few stumps. Start splitting it and stacking it. It's old sassafras tree. It's not good for burning a good firewood for in the house, but it's really good for kindling to get the fire going. So I'm going to split it and stack it so it can air out all year long. And when I get a chance, I'll just take a little bit at a time and take my hatchet and split it up into smaller pieces. And all I'll have to do is just take an armload at a time in the house and stick in her little rack where she keeps her kindling at. That way, if I'm not at home and she needs to get a fire going.
Here's another project I got done today. I cleaned off my porch. I had stuff piled up. I had some stuff piled up over here, some screens and potting soil, and I had a couple of old pots that the flowers had died in that had sat out here since last summer. And I tend to do that. I tend to get stuff piled up through the winter, even on my screened-in porch. And so I cleaned that all off today. And that's my screened-in porch. The other day, I called the local USDA office and asked them if they were going to give away trees this year. They always give away, they usually give away pine trees and redbud trees and sometimes dogwood trees, and so I had called to see if they were going to give away trees this year. He talked to me for a long time about the trees, and what I was wanting them for is for some privacy fencing, and we discussed all that. He told me another option, you know, some other options of trees that grow fast and all that he didn't know what kind they'd be giving away, because they do different trees each year. Telling him about, I told him it was 8 acres. We had 8 acres. And I was telling him that I was going to do farmer's market, and that we had the pecan trees, and we're starting fruit trees. He advised me to come get a farm number. And I don't know if that's like a tax ID number. I don't think so, because you get around here, you get a tax ID number at the county clerk's office. So I'm not real sure what he's talking about. I haven't looked it up a whole lot. I did look up and see where to get loans or grants, you have to have a farm number and some other number. I'm not real sure about that either. But I wasn't necessarily looking at getting a loan or a grant. I was just, you know, he was saying the reason that he suggested I do it is because then they can help us out a lot on things and help us maybe get grants. He said right now they had a grant for a, like it's like a plant tunnel. It's like a, I can't think of what he called it, but it's a tunnel that's like a greenhouse, only it's not a greenhouse because you actually plant in the ground, but then you have this tunnel over it. He said they have a grant right now for that, and you know, if I was interested in that, since I was gonna be selling at farmer's market, I might could, you know, plant a whole lot of something in one of those, and different things. We talked for a long time, and he was very helpful. But he suggested I come get this farm number. I guess what I'm thinking, what I'm asking is, how many of you, is there any of y'all out there watching that have a farm number that could tell me a little about it? Or do you think, am I being paranoid by thinking that by getting a farm number, am I opening our place up for government control? Is that going to put us in some kind of a list that the government has that considers us a farm, and someday they come and say, hey, you have a farm and we're taking it? Or, I don't know. I don't know. You never know. But am I opening myself up for that? Or is a farm number just not a big deal? He also said another reason he suggested getting it is because if we got into, like, say, the pecan business, or an orchard, and we had a bad season that caused us to lose some of it or caused us to not be able to sell any that year, we could be eligible for grants and things that cover your loss, disaster money or something, that would help us. And I want to do it, and I talked to Lee about it, and he wants to do it. But what I'm asking is, does anybody, what's y'all's opinion? Do you think I'm opening us up for government control? Also, he talked like they could help us in a lot of ways if we are on growing to sell. Now, this is totally different if you're just being self-sufficient. And maybe if you're just selling at the farmer's market a little bit, might not be any reason to get a farm number then. If we did go on and get into the pecan business a lot, which we may, we plan to, but it's down the road. And then all the fruit trees we've planted could be considered an orchard down the road. I do have a lady who is about to build a restaurant, and she wants to use all local produce. And I've already talked to her. I'm first on her list of people to contact. Any thoughts? I'd appreciate it. I am going to talk to some people next week, 1 week from today. Tomorrow. 1 week from today, we're leaving to go to Wiggins, Mississippi, and then 1 week from tomorrow is actually the spring gathering. And I know several people that are going to be there. I already have questions for. The Tanner's Pecans has a very nice, large pecan business. I have a lot of questions for them about how to get started, and others that I want to know about farmers markets. Any of y'all that's going to be there, I know the aldermen are going to be there, and I'm going to get to talk to her a little bit about farmers market. I know that she sets up a really beautiful display in her farmers market. She has a lot of baked goods and things like that. And I've watched her video on where he films her at the farmer's market, and she has a beautiful display. And so things like that I'm watching for. And any tips or for beginners on farmers markets. 70 Farms, they also do farmers market, and I've watched some of hers. She mostly does baked goods. And that's another question I have. What's the best thing to do? They both do baked goods. Is there anybody out there doing something different that's doing good at farmers market? Let me know, please. If you're going to the spring gathering and you know about some of these things, please let me know. I would love to talk to some people down at the spring gathering about things that we need to know, things that we are fixing to get into soon, and we need to learn. And I'm going to write everything down, who all I want to talk to and what questions I want to ask them. I'm going to get that all written down before I go down there. And I'm just really excited about meeting them all. So anyway, back to my question is about the farm number. About the farm number. What do you think about that? Anything y'all want to give me a tips on farmers market? I want to be a farmer, y'all. So anyway, any helpful hints are appreciated. Any tips are appreciated. And I can't wait to see the people at the spring gathering in Wiggins, Mississippi. So thank y'all for watching. I've had a great day. It's beautiful out here. I'm so glad I got my porch cleaned up today. Wonderful. I love sitting on the porch. Y'all subscribe and keep watching and give me a thumbs up and give me comments. And y'all just check back with us.